Rockstar Games, a developer and publisher mostly known for franchises such as Grand Theft Auto, Midnight Club, Red Dead, Max Payne and a few others. Well, after Take-Two, the parent company of Rockstar Games, acquired Barking Dog Studios Ltd. In August 2002, they renamed the company to Rockstar Vancouver and gave them the task of creating something new, something never seen before, a game which could potentially cause them a lot of controversy, even more so than Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Bully!
Welcome to hell, Jimmy Hopkins!
Alright guys, bad infos here, this will be an in-depth review of the entire game. It's my first proper review on my channel and constructive criticism is greatly appreciated. Make sure to subscribe and press the like button if you enjoyed the video. Let's go! The year is 2005. At E3 that year, a small and unusual game was revealed for PS2 and Xbox players, showing not much more than a few screenshots. A year after, in October 2006, the game hit store shelves. Well, what is Bully? Let's find out. The game starts off with a cutscene with 3 people in a car. Usually, if you have not watched any trailers before starting the game, you would think that you would play as the dad of the brat in the back seat, or maybe his mom. Children in such games are usually frowned upon to be main protagonists. People get really antsy when they see children getting hurt or yelled at. Many games ruin their entire immersion factor by making children indestructible, while everyone else can be killed around them. Not Bully. Shortly after starting off, you realize that you play as a child. A bratty child living in a broken home where the mother goes around too much, changing husbands left and right. You are left in a new school, your 7th school so far. How would this one be any different from the last ones? Well, for starters, the principal looks intimidating. He's a man of power, the leader of these delinquents. It looks like things will be very strict for Jimmy Hopkins at Bullworth Academy. Soon you realize that it's definitely not the case. There are bullies everywhere. Some punch kids around, others lock their friends in lockers, dump them in the trash cans, fights take place in the schoolyard, and many more. You, the new boy in town, immediately gets bullied. This really hits close to home because as a child, every new classmate we got immediately got bullied. Some even left the school shortly after because they couldn't take it. The game is a very active representation of real life, and you'll see more of that later. Jimmy, being a hard-ass, definitely does not let up and quickly makes a name for himself. His specialty is beating people around him, but there's something different in Jimmy, something you don't see in the other bullies. Jimmy has a heart.
You're just like everyone else, picking on the little man.
I'm not like everyone else. Honestly.
He is not senselessly causing mayhem. He gets into fights to defend himself. He doesn't call others names just because he could. Well, sure, there's some tongue-in-cheek jokes in there, they're not malicious in any way. That's when you realize that the intro was a bit misleading. You are not the bad guy in our story, the parents are. You are expelled from so many schools because of your living situation. That's some amazing character development, and was a genuine surprise for me when starting out. At first I was like, oh boy, am I gonna play with this spoiled brat? The game is called Bullies, so I gotta go around punching people left and right? Who would find this thing interesting? Honestly, if I was not a YouTuber, I would have never tried this game out. I tried it out only because of the constant mentions of the game in my comment sections. Years after years, I told myself how stupid a game like this could be. Well, I was wrong. It is the best game I played in 2019 and would play it again. However, it's not the game I was expecting, and it was praised way too much. People gush over it all the time, and I don't think it deserves it. If you're a PC player and are familiar with Rockstar Games, you know where I'm going with this. Rockstar Games is notoriously known for the mistreatment of their biggest fanbase, the PC players. They treat us with disrespect and don't bat an eye. In fact, the only time they gave a damn about us was when porting GTA 5 to PC. The game runs and feels great. The same goes for Max Payne 3 apparently, which I have never played, otherwise we always end up at the back. always picking up the breadcrumbs, always being treated as second-class citizens. Don't believe me? Well, look no further than your beloved GTA franchise. Every game gets very bad treatment on the PC. All kinds of game-breaking bugs are present and are not patched out tens of years after release. Bully is the same. Oh, sorry, Bully is even worse, is what I wanted to say. This scholarship edition of Bully is the single worst PC port I have had the displeasure of playing. The closest one to it is the Saints Row 2 port, which you can't play without a mod installed. Bully is no different. The raw game is unplayable, and when I tried it out 2-3 years ago, I was completely turned off from it. Glitches galore. The game could not not past tense, present tense. The game cannot, to this day, render objects properly. Half of the map could be missing. People could freeze in place. It crashes every 5, 10 or in the best case 15 minutes. Or god forbid, if you unlock the frame rate to even 60 FPS, you cannot even start it up. The keyboard and mouse controls? It is the worst mouse movement ever. No care was placed to make it PC friendly, and there is no way that you can play with a mouse and tell me that the controls are fine. I simply would not believe you. It is a complete farce, a complete lack of care for such a beloved game by many, and it hurts me to see it, because a bit of polish is all it needs. I mean, if a modder can fix all of that, then maybe you're doing a bad job, Rockstar Games. I know many of you won't care about that, but this is a PC channel and I feel genuinely insulted when Rockstar Games treat us this horribly, even for newer releases. Anyway, where was I? I went on a tangent. Oh yes, the story. After getting introduced to some new characters, get into a few fights, and into some trouble too, the game introduces you to the time management system. Honestly, one of the best systems I have ever seen. You know the annoying bedtime rules you had as a child, right? Where your parents would force you to go to bed at a certain time, where you had to stay at school for a certain amount of hours, leaving you with only a few hours a day to do fun things like watch bad infos videos on YouTube? Well, I do, and this game replicates that phenomenally well. Your day starts at 8 o'clock. You have 1 hour to prepare, and you hear the bell ring at 9 AM. If you don't get to class till 9:30, you could get in trouble. Your morning class starts at 9:30 and finishes in 11:30. After that you get a little pee break, maybe you can go fart around with your friends, maybe even place them in a locker, take some pictures for the yearbook album, do some epic stunts on the handrails, do whatever you want. Your afternoon classes starts exactly at 1:30. After you're done, from 3:30 PM to 11 PM you can do whatever you want. Even go to bed at 7 PM if that's your thing. The meat of the game is between these hours, because that seems like the only time you can freely do missions and not get into trouble. If you're not back to bed by 2 AM, you pass out. The process repeats. Guys, do you see how incredibly creative this is? It stimulates real life amazingly well. It removes the annoying things like homework or talking about your bad grades awkwardly to your parents. No, here you're a child, free to do whatever you want. You can skip classes, dress in your underwear, kiss the ugly chick of the school and not get called a loser, and so much more. Absolutely incredible idea, and it's the strongest thing the game has going for it. I mentioned classes. You probably think that you go to class, a cutscene plays, and time advances. Well, no, not at all. In these hours you actually partake in these lessons. Some are very easy, others are incredibly difficult, and you might need to do some googling in order to pass them. Each class has 5 levels. Each level gives you a certain bonus, which could be a big help for the main missions. The morning classes are chemistry, art, shop, biology and geography. Chemistry is very easy if you know your controller layout very well, because you need to press a certain button when it's shown on the screen. Nothing difficult about it, and once you're done, you can make all kinds of items at your chemistry set in your dorm. Art I would consider to be a semi-easy class. What you do here is you guide a pencil around a rectangular painting. You need to reveal a lot of the painting in order to pass. You dodge hazards on the board and collect bonuses along the way. Completing the first class gives you the ability to kiss a girl, which increases your total health. Completing them all helps with kissing, because you no longer have to buy them gifts like flowers and candy before kissing them. I like this class a lot because of the rewards and the idea of the minigame.
Well done, Jimmy. You've completed all your assignments. If you'd like to come back to work on your skills, you're very welcome.
Shop is not to my liking. What happens here is you get a few prompts on the screen and you need to perform certain actions. The actions are very few and look extremely easy. Well, they would be if the game did not glitch out half the time when doing them. Very often performing an action exactly how it's shown on the screen makes you fail. I cannot explain why. GTA games sometimes break their physics when the frame rate is too high, but even limiting my frames in Bully, nothing changes. Patching the game also does not work. This class was just poorly coded, and it's a shame because the reward is worthwhile to get. You work on bikes in these classes, bikes which you can ride later on. They have much better stats than your standard bicycle you find laying around. Next up we have biology. Biology is gross and simultaneously one of my favorites. In biology you cut open animals and take their intestines. Ew, not even GTA made me flinch before. Well, I guess the torture cutscene in GTA 5 did a little bit, but nothing like this. You remove hearts, testicles, stomachs. Oh yeah, the good stuff. The rewards are more outfits, nothing useful, but hey, at least biology is fun. Lastly we have geography, one of my favorite classes in real life when I was a student, and the second worst class in Bully. I just hate it. What you do is the game gives you a map and you have to place flags on certain countries or states. Yes, you heard me right, states. I have never in my life studied state locations. I can't even list you more than 5. And yet, this game just makes you place flags around in a very short time limit. Even with random guesses you won't be able to get them correctly, because for every mistake they take time away. I got really pissed off at this class because not every person who buys this game is American. Most people not living in the States never studied the States ever in their lives, making this impossible for many. Really disappointing. The reward also sucks because all you get are more clothing options. Well, whoop de flip-and-do. Let's move on.
I hope this isn't the beginning of a trend, Hopkins.
The afternoon classes are English, gym, photography, music and math. We start off with the absolutely worst class ever in existence. English sucks, really sucks, one of the worst parts of the game. If you have not noticed, I'm not a native English speaker. What I have to do in this class is list 10 plus words in a very short amount of time to complete it. 80% of these words I have never even heard of, and most English speakers don't even use them in their daily commutes. What a waste of time! I managed to complete one by writing my guessed words on a piece of paper after every attempt. Eventually I got it right. It's a shame too because the rewards are worthwhile to get. When getting in trouble you can apologize and get off scot-free.
Don't worry, James. Failure is just a natural consequence of trying.
Now gym is totally different. This is all about physical activity. Sometimes you beat up people, others you play dodgeball. Dodgeball is absolutely amazing. Dodging in the perfect moment is hard, and quickly your team of 3 would get demolished. Luckily there are 3 rounds, so you can correct your mistake. Completing classes increases your accuracy, which for some missions is incredibly important.
Hopkins, you passed my class. Come back whenever you feel like teaching these wimps a few things.
Photography, yes, here's a class you would never fail, but a class which you would feel like it's a complete waste of time. All you do here is go around the map and take pictures. That's all. Nothing special or cool about it. You can do this in free roam without the annoying clock taking away the seconds telling you to hurry up. The rewards are camera related, and you also get double tickets at the carnival after completing the last one.
It was easy.
Music is a joke, and it's a class which I aced at 100%. You get prompts on the screen, and you hit the triggers at the correct time. Yeah, that's it. The class is easy and the rewards are clothes only, nothing special but fun nonetheless. And lastly we have math. As a child, the hardest subject at my school, but in this game I actually enjoyed it. You get a time limit, and you need to solve all the problems as quick as possible. They're always the same, so when you come back the next day, you can fix your mistakes. The rewards are clothes again.
You're not even trying, are you?
Never before had I seen something this creative. You not only do the classes, but if you pass them, you unlock side missions related to the teachers, which give you these classes. Some of these missions are the best in the game, and it's another reason why you should spend time passing them and getting good grades. Unlike real life, where even if you're the best student, you can still work in a fast food place and get no appreciation from your boss. That's where Bully differs a bit. You know what the best part of these classes is? You can completely skip them. Don't like all the annoying minigames? Well, don't do them. Go to the ones you enjoy and get the rewards you like. It's up to you. For me the classes are the most fun and creative part of the game, so I tried to ace as many as I could.
And he is so cute.
Cute. Nice. Come on, Lionel. Let's go.
Bye, Jimmy.
Bully is also a game which likes to surprise you. At first when starting out, I thought that everything you do would be in the school area. I played a whole chapter and that turned out to be true. I accepted that fact and was happy about it. The school area was fun to be around in. Well, imagine my surprise when I passed the first chapter and more of the map opened up. This reminded me of old school GTA games, where passing missions was the way to unlock other islands. Bully's progression is the same. You start off at the school, later move on to the city, and afterwards even at the trailer park with all the rednecks. The industrial area is honestly very bland to me and is my least favorite place. I only went there to pass mandatory missions. Luckily you unlock it very late in the game, so you don't go to it often. Other than that, we have long and stretchy streets, big beaches where you can ride a bike, or even swim, a huge carnival with many attractions and minigames, the schoolyard of course, the asylum, the woods, the rich place, with huge mansions and many more. The variety is pretty vast, even though the map is small. There are so many communities splattered everywhere. Speaking of communities, I think it's time to talk about the cliques. In Bully you'll find 5 different types of people. The Jocks, muscular sporty people who run around all day and act tough. The nerds, small outcasts into comic books who pee themselves and wear glasses. The Preppies, rich boys and girls who are spoiled and look down on the poor students. The Greasers who wear leather jackets and grease their hair. And finally the Townies who don't attend the Bullworth Academy. All cliques fight with one another and each one has a leader. Your job is to beat up the leader and assert your dominance. That's the idea of the game, and the majority of the missions make you beat up people in a certain clique or help another one to make the other guys look bad and lose influence. It's kinda like the gang wars in GTA San Andreas, but here you work alone and try to take over all the turf. You'll be liked by some and hated by others. I love the idea of cliques in the game. It's present in real life and also gives you a great goal to strive for, taking over the school and beating up all these leaders. The combat style is something the game developers should be proud of. It's a combination between light and heavy attacks with the ability to grapple your opponent and do more damage. As you progress through the story, you learn new moves from gym class and the bum who you keep helping out. I did not really use the moves. What I did was just grapple somebody and kept bashing the attack button. Yeah, some fights are harder if you don't use finishers or moves you learn during side missions, but hey, you do what you can, and if I can beat up 10 people with just one button, I'll do that. A little while after you start off you get a few weapon rewards as well. The only one which I used was the slingshot. Throughout the story you live through different seasons and in turn can also celebrate holidays such as Christmas and Halloween. While Halloween was an interesting spin and added exclusive missions and kids were dressed in weird outfits, it did not feel that special to me. Part of that is probably because where I live, Bulgaria, Halloween is not something we celebrate. The Christmas event, on the other hand, I felt like it was amazing. Just like the other holiday, we have exclusive missions which were very well thought out. Did you like using your skateboard wherever you go? Well, tough luck, because now all the ground is covered in snow and skating is very slippery. Other than that, you can even form snowballs and throw them at students or town people. This is also why the Christmas and winter chapters were my favorite ones in the game. The gameplay changes for the better and a lot of small things were changed, such as the clothes people wear. Even you yourself can feel the cold if you stay outside in a tank top, for instance. I thought it was a great idea adding seasons and feel like it should be done more often in video games. Along your path you'll see some very interesting characters, some helpful ones like the bum, others which are spoiled and should never get attention. You'll see people full of themselves, other kids being shy. It's the full spectrum of personalities and variety is always nice. I did not find a single person who got me angry or I disliked a lot. Even the villains you quickly learn to tolerate. Gary Smith being a big candidate. He is the main protagonist and is the sole reason why so many people turn against you near the end of the game. His character is written very well. You can really see how determined he can be in ruling the school. He, like many movie and other video game villains, has an actual and achievable goal, which does not seem that out of the ordinary. All of us want a bit more appreciation, a bit more trust and acceptance. Gary takes it to the extreme, but we can see where he's coming from and the way he becomes a little bit relatable. I don't like how he was handled at the end though. Sure, you get what you wanted, revenge, but the final boss battle was not special and the ending sequence seemed out of place, and I feel like a lot more could have been done. Like for instance, after you beat him up, you immediately teleport to the headmaster's office. We didn't see how they fell, where they fell, how hurt they were. Maybe their clothes could have been torn a little bit. Having blood on them would change the tone of the game, but I don't know, maybe we could have seen Jimmy carry Gary to the headmaster. I feel like an extra cutscene could have been added in here, but I guess it's fine the way it is too. I did not hate the ending, and it's certainly not one of the worst ones out there, but some more thought could have been put in. In closing, Bully is an incredible game, which I found very fun. It was not the game I expected because it was overhyped way too much, but even with the terrible mouse controls, game-breaking glitches and unsatisfying ending, I would remember this game many years after completing it.
Not now, Pete. I'm basking in adulation. I mean, running the school fairly.
And this, guys, concludes my first proper review on this channel. If you have any questions, suggestions, and most importantly constructive criticism, then please post it in the comment section down below. Subscribe if you haven't, click the like button, and I'll see you in the next episode. But before I go, I wanna thank my lovely Patreon supporters: Vladas, Soup Smile, Alex Chavez, Max Robinson, and everyone else listed on the screen. Thank you so much for your support.